Hey everyone, my name is James and welcome back to Chippy Gaming. So I'm here as promised to talk all about Terraria Journey's End, that serious title that pops up during the trailer. And this is something I'm kind of reacting alongside all of you with. You may not believe it, but when I was working on the trailer, I didn't ask what Journey's End actually meant. In the back of my mind, I kind of did toy with the idea that it might mean the final update for Terraria, but maybe it's just a jazzy name, I thought. But no, it is in fact the final update for Terraria. So think of this as kicking off the very first Terraria therapy session, because I feel like us as a community, we kind of need it. I want to talk about the future of Terraria and where I think it's going. I don't think this is a bad thing, and I don't feel like a lot of you do either. I've been reading comments quite a lot for the past 24 hours. Honestly, the past 24 hours has just been a complete roller coaster. From that very first moment when the trailer got shown at E3, it crashed in front of everyone, and then people finding it on YouTube and just the hype exploding. I've read a lot, and what I seem to gather from all of you is that this is an update you can be excited of and also proud of to be the final update, and I kind of like that. But just focusing on the title, I really do believe that this is the journey's end for Relogic and Terraria. I think they're ready to step away. At one point, 1.3 was the final update and they were ready to step away. And at one point, 1.1 was also the final update. And it's really easy for me to justify in my mind that, yeah, they'll probably come back. They find it hard to step away from the project. But I almost feel disrespectful when I think it, because if a developer is stood there telling me today that they're ready to step away, I need to be like, cool, I appreciate all of your hard work, and I will see you on the next project. And that's kind of how I'm approaching this. So before we get into the real meat of this discussion, I want to give you guys a little bit of trivia about the trailer, because I know a lot of you are very like-minded. You like trivia about your favorite things. I mean, I have a channel kind of dedicated to trivia almost. So here's how my original concept for the intro was going to go. Obviously, I did change it. So it was originally going to pan in Terraria logo 1.3.6 underneath. That was going to get dusted away and reveal 1.4, you know, this secret update that nobody really knew about. And when it got changed to Journey's End, it just made the whole thing so much better. It had a bigger impact because it left you with that moment of, wait, what does that mean? What does Journey's End mean? And that's why I'm prompted to make this discussion. Now, if you do want to know a little bit more about the behind the scenes, me and Chaos just released a video on his channel. Go and check it out. It's really interesting. We talk about our favorite scenes, and he shows you how to build that awesome volcano that was used in the trailer, the one during the golfing scene. He's a small channel. He needs a little bit of love, and I'll leave a link to it down below. So go and check it out. It's a really great video. So where I want to start my discussion is actually talking about how big of an update this might potentially be for Terraria, because if it's going to be a final update, we need to talk about whether it has the standards of a final update. So what's it got inside? I feel like the thing that most people are excited for from watching the trailer is probably Master Mode. It's a new way to play Terraria, clearly a much harder difficulty, and all we really know so far is that bosses have 30% more health. You can't really look at damage because you never know if that character was wearing armor or it was vanity or anything like that in the trailer. So don't really look at damage, look at health. So yeah, 30% more. Now, I did notice a lot of people pointing out that Master Mode wasn't available on the character selection screen, and this kind of leads into a theory I spoke about with somebody else. I'm going to steal their theory, but essentially it was you have to beat the game in expert mode, and then you will get Master Mode, and that makes sense. The fact that it's not available on day one, you have to prove yourself worthy, and that is a feature that's going to go into the pile of replayability. So when looking at a final update, I want to look at what replayability it adds to Terraria. And then something else was world generation. We saw in the trailer that it had a few different variants of moss, and I believe that this is probably a feature that's going to be in different worlds. So one world might be blue moss, another world might be like orangey moss. But world generation changes are something that was also pointed out by Loki on the community forums. World generation is going to be a really big part of this update, and that once again adds replayability, different worlds, different ways to experience Terraria. I like that. Also, expanding fishing. Probably one of the slowest mini games inside of Terraria is fishing. And we now know that thanks to Blood Moon fishing, you have a brand new boss, there's new enemies, there's new items related to it, and that's really exciting as well. And then also, we did see in the trailer a whole bunch more building, and we saw another mini game, golf. Why not? And it's stuff like that that's just going to keep expanding replayability. Oh, you like this minigame? Cool. Pedguin's added it to his server. Now you can play it for 5 hours with your friends. Do you get what I mean by that? Like, it's just another step to keep you playing the game. And I feel like that's what this update's really going to linger on. They mentioned that there's over 800 new items. That's a whole bunch more to find. And also the fact that a lot of the textures have been changed within the update, and that is to kind of keep in line with some of the artists that are working on Terraria now, just really polishing up the update. So when you look at it as a whole, a final update, it's adding a ton of replayability. It's also making the game look better, and apparently squashing some bugs too. So when it comes to valuing it, I'm going to give it an A+, really. It looks that good. So now that I've kind of justified that this is actually going to be the final update in my head, and I've also spoken about how good this is going to be for the game with all that replayability, I think it's important to talk about what's next for Terraria after this. And I really feel like it falls onto really good social media management. I know that sounds a little bit dumb. And also modding. Modding is what's going to keep this game alive as it goes forward. And yeah, it's going to take a little while for those mods to be introduced to Terraria 1.4. You know, you add things like wind and modding becomes even more difficult. And that's fine, because while they're being worked on, people are going to be playing vanilla 1.4 and enjoying it. And then when you're done, you want a fresh experience. You've got the people over at Thorium, over at Calamity, adding hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of items to Terraria, almost outranking a lot of the updates when it comes to items. And I know a lot of them are quite simple. It's not as unique as an actual update. But that being said, mods are very, very close, in my opinion. I love a good mod, especially Thorium and Calamity. And you also have a bunch of smaller ones, so if Terraria gets released and it doesn't have that little feature that you really wanted, somebody's probably going to mod it. But what I think would make the perfect Journey's End would be giving the keys to modders to have that official modding support. Right now, we have a bunch of people that are making Tmod Loader work. If we could incorporate that with Terraria just out of the gate, that would make the longevity of the game pretty great. I mean, we have Relogic, they're not going anywhere. If they really needed to tweak something to allow mods in the future, they probably would, but I would love it if it just came bundled with the update. And we're kind of getting that with a different feature. With texture packs, it's going to be available on the main menu in the game now, so that's going to encourage a lot of people to go out, make their own texture packs for Terraria, and I quite like that because right now we only have the one, pretty much. There's a bunch of smaller ones, a bunch of ones that aren't done yet, and I'm going to cover those in the future. But right now, one big main one, which is the Calamity one. And here's the last part about my therapy, and that is the community around Terraria. So I've been doing Terraria for 8 years now, and it's had its ups and its downs. At one point, the community was pretty much dead after they cancelled Terraria. Nobody wanted to make a mod, nobody wanted to make a texture pack, nobody wanted to make videos, nobody was covering news, it was all dried up, and it was a bit of a rough time. But you know what? It was still there, you know, you could interact with it, and maybe in 10 years, that might be the case, but who knows? It's all about how much you're willing to put in. Terraria is the kind of game where you can step away for absolutely months. You don't need to play the game to interact with the community. The community is just this big creative bubble. People are always doing random things, right? Somebody's making a bank inside of Terraria out of a bunch of different wires. Somebody's making an adventure map where you swim through the world. It's stuff like that. You have your favorite YouTubers. There's a whole bunch now. A lot more than there's ever been before. And I know that's weird to kind of grasp. You would imagine that it was way popular when it came out. No, it's probably more popular now than it's ever been. Way more YouTubers, which I love to see, obviously, because I'm one of them. So, in conclusion, what I'm really trying to get across is that even though it's the final update for a game you really love, you can be sad about it. But don't worry too much. It doesn't mean that the game's going to die. It's always going to be in your Steam library. People are going to continue making mods. They're going to make texture packs, adventure maps, and all of that will be waiting for you when you want to play some more Terraria. and even me, I'm probably still going to be here. Why not? I've got nothing better else to do. So yeah, thank you all for watching this really long video. I hope you enjoyed it. I know it's a little bit different because it's not really about the gameplay. It's just about me talking. But thank you so much for all your love and support, especially all the love you gave to Chaos as well. Like, you've really helped, you know, change his life. You doubled his channel in 24 hours. Guys, you've been amazing. So, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.